What's going on, boys and girls? What is going on? What is happening, y'all? Wow, did we really get that dub? Did we did we really get that dub? I'm trying to figure it out myself. I'm trying to figure it out myself. How'd we end up getting that dub? How'd we end up getting the dub? I don't understand. I don't know about y'all, but I don't know how they did it. How'd they do that? How'd they get that dub? Good to see everybody in the chat. Man, it's been a long time since man, it's been a long time since I've done something like this. I'm trying to get the chat to pop up for y'all, so just give me 1 second while I kind of situate that. That's my favorite thing in the whole world. But we got a victory. We got a dub. We got a victory. We got a dub. And man, it is so good to see that rolling. You know what I mean? It's just so good to see that rolling and see that kind of continue to just get better and better and better and better and bigger and bigger and bigger. That's so wild. And to see Mariota continue to progress and get better. Talking about like his wide motion on his feet and things of that nature. I think it's just become it's become part of it now. Become part of the entire it's becoming part of the entire reason why. It's become part of the entire reason why this team has kind of started to just rest. And I love every bit of it. I really do. I love every bit of it because you see guys like Troy Anderson, Richie Grant, and Hawkins and Algier and Avery's, and you see these dudes continue to get better and better and better. And it's so wild to see it. So wild to see it. Let me add a. Oh, I know what the problem is. I know what the problem is. Where is that box? Producing a cat. What a way to kind of like begin a way to begin this kind of like move forward. Because without Mariota getting better and getting a wider stance and being accurate with the ball, we got Kyle Pitts involved in today's game. We got Kyle Pitts involved in today's game. Not just because we were trying to get him open, but because it opened up itself. It opened up itself. And just so wild. Just so wild to see it continue to get. I'm astounded. I'm astounded. So it's so clear now where the Falcons are going. So clear now where the Falcons are going. And I love every second of that. Because it's like you see Mariota continue to progress. You see Mariota continue to get better. It's not what you're looking for the final product, but it continues to get better. That's a wild change for this team. That's a wild change for this. I can't believe we're actually beginning to see this wild change. Thank you guys for sticking through it. I want to very quickly say to all of y'all, oh goodness. Oh goodness. Thank you, Taylor McPherson, for the 499 in the chat. Art Smith and Scary Terry are hymns. They are he. Thank you so much, my friend. I really appreciate that in the chat. Thank you so much. Can we get a round of applause to everybody in the chat to Taylor McPherson with the 499 dono? Goodness grief. But can you imagine right now the Marcus Mariota haters out there? The Marcus Mariota haters out there that have been down on Mariota, and this offensive line finally after 5 weeks gets it. And people were calling for Ritter to start next week in the Panthers game, and I don't know if he'll even play this year. I don't even know if he'll play this year. Isn't that wild? Isn't that a little wild show? What a spectacle. But now we're sitting here, if you're a Falcons fan, if you are a Falcons fan right now, make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit us up in the chat. If you haven't already said hi, I would love to say hi to everybody in the chat that I could possibly see. Z, Blizz, Taylor McPherson, Stealth Mode TV, Big John, 6458, James Dockery, Erica, Allen, Dexter Vlash, Brian Long, the Locker Room, Woon Carter, Z. Good to see you guys. John Thompson in here. Blizz is in here. Rise up, stay grounded to all y'all. Hope you're all doing well. But as long as Mariota continues to play the way that he's currently playing, who's to say that he doesn't finish out the entire year? That's a thought I don't think anybody in here wants to actually begin to have that particular discussion. We got to win today. We don't really need to get into that particular discussion, but look at all the people that are out there participating. Look at all the people that are out there participating right now. The people that are out there that are currently making plays. We're seeing Violent Drake London. We're seeing Zacchaeus out here making smart plays. We're seeing Kyle Pitts score touchdowns. We're seeing guys go out there and Tyler Algier, Troy Anderson, making plays today. Yes, we'll have to get an update on what happened to AJ Terrell. We'll have to see whether or not Casey Hayward's injury is big. But as soon as Hall got in there, as soon as Oliver got in there, we saw a little bit of what these youngsters can do. And so things begin to not look so bleak. Things begin to get more interesting. You look at the entire timeline of what the Atlanta Falcons have done, and they keep continuously calling for 2023. 2023 is the year. 2023 is the year. And I'm starting to get kind of a feeling of why that might be. Why the Atlanta Falcons are potentially going to be that 2023 scary team. I'm going to pull this forward a little bit. Is that better for y'all or worse for y'all now that I pulled it forward a little bit? Let me know in the chat. King Jaffe Joe, what's going on, my man? JJ the Great, Falcons fan 408. Good to see you guys. Rise up, stay grounded. I hope you're all doing well. But now we've seen a little taste of what this team can start looking like as they get feisty. As we start to add more destructive pieces to this line. I think it makes me more excited than I think it makes other Falcons fans excited, because it's like, look at what you've currently built. Yes, Mariota is not the long-term option, but yes, now they're showing why Marcus Mariota was picked up by Arthur Smith and Terry Fontenot. Yes, I understand that we all want to see Ritter. I do too. In fact, I'm actually the leader of the Desmond Ritter club, the fan club. And now we're currently sitting at a time and place right now where the Atlanta Falcons potentially can ride Ritter on the bench, on the pine, for, 6 to 8 more games, trying to figure out whether or not this version of the Atlanta Falcons run by Marcus Mariota can take them to where they need to be. That's the part that I think is the most exciting, because you don't know when Desmond Ridder is going to get that opportunity. But as long as Marcus Mariota continues to play at this level, who's to say that we don't win games? Yes, we beat the San Francisco 49ers with a few beat up pieces. Well, guess what? We lost pieces too. Maybe we're not as coaching talented, or as player talented as San Francisco supposedly identifies as the most talented club. But if the Falcons can go and make a close game against the Buccaneers, make a close game against the New Orleans Saints, make a close game against, the LA Rams, and win games like today's game against San Francisco, even if they're missing a person, go into next week against Carolina and get a dub there against Carolina, where do you stop? Where do you stop from there? Or actually, no, not where you stop. Where do you go? Where do you go from there? What becomes the next bit for you? But if you now allow this player to mature in Desmond Ridder for a full year, really getting a full idea of what this offense is going to be, and then come out and replicate what Marcus Mariota can do and double down on the actual passing part of the game, then the sky's the limit, right? These birds will fly. Hey, man, I done seen just about anything, but I mean, I haven't seen Desmond Ridder fly yet. So let's let Marcus Mariota keep doing his thing. Let him go out there and continue to chuck the ball when he needs to chuck the ball, and go out there and run. Yeah, it's not 20 times or 30 times a game Marcus Mariota is going out there and throwing the ball. But you're getting results off of great running support. Huntley, Algier, Avery, getting Pitts involved, going out with Marcus Mariota, playing some of that RPO magic, that read option. And you begin to settle in and understand, look at what the Atlanta Falcons are doing. This is why they're one of the most polarizing offenses in the current league right now, even though they're not one of the best teams in the league. Terrence Holmes, what's going on, my man? Rise up, stay grounded. Hope you're doing well. JP in the building. Good to see you, my man. Rise up, stay grounded. But listen to what I have to say here. You're running to perfection. You don't even have what they call, Dallas's great wall of as a O-line. You don't have that. You don't have that. But what you do have is guys that are out there to go and hit. Caleb McGarry's getting the job done. Chris Lindstrom's getting the job done. Drew Dahlman's getting the job done. Your interchanging left guards right now are getting the job done. Jake Matthews is getting the job done. You're running it down teams' throats because these running backs are working symbiotically. We've said this since the inception of this channel, that the symbiotic relationship between an offensive line and the running back, and how they run and how aggressive or patient your runner is the success rate to which your running game works and how your play action works. So you can't you can't tell me that this group right here isn't making it work, because they are. They don't have elite starters at every position on the O-line, and yet they're running it down teams' throats when they need to run it down their throats. Don't tell me you don't like this style of football, especially when it also encompasses new age RPO style. This is what the Falcons have needed to play for many, many years now. They've just needed that style of runner. Christopher Sanders, good to see you, my man. Rise up, stay grounded. I hope you're doing well. Watching this team do what it did today and then taking all of that in over the past couple weeks, week 1 to week 5, look at the Falcons' run game. It has been consistently what they've been trying to get to work. You cannot tell me this is not working. You cannot tell me this is not working. Now becomes the part of, can Marcus Mariota set his feet, get a wide base, which is something they've mentioned in this game. In this game, they mentioned wide base. Mariota throws the ball with accuracy and precision and speed. Feet get tangled up, feet are short, trying to throw that quick ball like that, doesn't get set. He makes error mistakes. He makes interceptions happen. So when Marcus Mariota stays calm and in control, guess what he's doing? He's throwing touchdowns. He's throwing elite passes. He looks like a fantastic QB, like a competent QB. Like you could get through the whole year with this QB without Ritter touching the field even once. And combine that with the fact that Marcus Mariota has wheels, that becomes an incredibly dangerous scenario for defenses. Defensive coordinators having to stay up at night going, I'm not losing a heck load of sleep over Marcus Mariota, but I cannot wrap my head around how we're going to stop them on Sunday, on Thursday, on Monday. When Marcus Mariota can run the ball, or Darrell Patterson, or a slew of running backs that have all the same mentality, which is patient running, cutting, bowling guys over. And then you add an RPO element to that, read option on top of that, and your linebackers have to be incredibly diligent, or your defensive line has to be one of the best in the league. That's at Falcons' highest level of play. Lowest Falcons level of play is we literally shut down their run, and now their quarterback has to be forced to pass the ball. And ends up making mistakes because he can't get his wide base, because your defensive line is terrorizing the run game and thus most likely affecting the quarterback as well. So combine a Falcons offense that can reach an incredible height because of the weapons that it has, because of the guys and their continuity, because of how aggressive this type of offense can be. Combine that with a defense in Dean Pease, which is getting turnovers. They're not necessarily getting a bunch of sacks. They're getting a heck of pressure, but they're getting turnovers. They're causing turnovers. They're bending, but not breaking. I've heard this discussion before. I've already heard this before 100 times. We heard it with Mike Smith. We saw a little bit with Dan Quinn. Go back to Dan Reeves. Bring it all the way back to what we're currently seeing right now. Bend don't break is the name of the game in the NFL, unless you can be ultra aggressive and be able to have 5 first-round picks on your defensive line and be able to create that particular type of pressure where you're bringing guys down. So when we look at the Atlanta Falcons and we see that maybe they're not getting exactly straight to the quarterback because of the style of quarterback that's playing in this league today, in this game today, guys that have a little more wiggle room, you begin to realize the pressure the Falcons that they are currently creating. That pressure right there is just enough. But if the Falcons were to add an impact rusher in the interior or an impact rusher on the outside that can create consistent havoc, one of those elite pass rushing guys, this unit becomes incredibly tiresome, incredibly scary to stop. I know this sounds like the 3 and 4 letter narrative and trope to talk about, but the Falcons need an impact rusher. And that doesn't have to be a defensive end or an edge. I think they could create that with a nose tackle, or maybe even another 34 defensive tackle. To Taquan Graham, I believe we lost him for the game. But when you're talking about guys that were creating pressures, Taquan Graham is one of those guys. Grady Jarrett can't do it all on his own. Lorenzo Carter is just an extra piece. AK and Ogundeji haven't developed fully as guys that you can depend on in that space. So when you look at this Atlanta Falcons team, you go, we need one impact rusher, and I think we're almost due for that. There's plenty of guys on this roster that are making and creating havoc, but there aren't a lot of guys that are bringing down the quarterback and making that big loss of yardage. And I believe, and you guys can tell me whether or not you believe this in the chat. You tell me what's up. But if the Atlanta Falcons can get an elite pass rusher in this offseason, whether that be through the free agent market, or maybe they go and find someone in the top half of the first round of the NFL draft, or maybe they grab several guys, a nose tackle, an edge, a defensive end that can play 34, defensive tackle, whatever that be, the Atlanta Falcons can definitely use not only the money, the time, and the resources to be able to acquire that particular piece, but I believe that that is the extra piece that we need for this defense to become incredibly strong. If you can just find one guy that creates terror, not just because Grady Jarrett's out there, but one guy that can be Grady Jarrett's equal, then you begin to make this really tough. So there's plenty of guys in this coming offseason that will most likely be shopped. I see a couple of guys getting thrown into the chat currently on the Twitch side of things. Make sure you guys check us out at twitch.tv/gamingwith_LTDan. Make sure that you follow us at UNGR_show on Twitter and on Instagram, as well as check us out here on YouTube. If you're currently listening to this live on YouTube and haven't decided to subscribe yet, make sure you hit that subscribe button, the notification bell to be the discovery letter to you for all of my content coming out. But look at what the Atlanta Falcons have accomplished, guys. Y'all tell me what you think in the chat. We're live right now. What do you think in the chat? The Falcons are currently sitting in a place. The Falcons are currently sitting in a place where a few wins rattled off, and suddenly not only are you winning the division, but you have a stranglehold on the division because, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I don't know if you guys actually watch this, but the Tampa Bay Buccaneers dropped a game to the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers dropped a game to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Too sweet. Christy Lewis, thank you so much for the sub. Really appreciate you. You the best. Welcome to the Grounders. But I just want to put this up there. Currently, Panthers beating Rams 3-0. Cardinals and Seahawks tied 3-3. Bills and Chiefs currently at 0. Let's take a look at some of the scores today. Commanders beat Bills 12-7. Thursday night football is bad. Falcons beat Niners 28-14. Improved to 3-3, bring the Niners down to 3-3. I wonder if that ties us for the division, or because the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have a division win over us, they're still in first. We'll have to check that out in just a moment. Patriots and Browns. Patriots beat Browns 38-15. Patriots are now 3-3. Browns 2-4. Browns look like a dumpster fire. And if the Deshaun Watson stuff continues, it will probably be the biggest blunder in Browns history. Probably the biggest blunder in Browns history. They're the worst. Hey, all from South Mississippi. It's quiet here in Aints country except me. We rose up. Oh, that's awesome. That is awesome. I love it. Jets beat Packers 27-10. The Jets are 4-2, y'all. Can somebody explain that one to me? What happened to the Packers, y'all? What happened to the Pack? Somebody call up one of those Packers somebody call up one of those Packers content creators and tell them, yo, what's going on? What's happened to the Packers, man? They have fallen apart. Jags drop the game to the Colts because Matty Ice comes up clutch, hits Alec Pierce in the back of the end zone. They go for 2, they hit the 2, and then shut down Trevor Lawrence and company at the end there. They improve to 3-2-1. They go 1-1 with the Jags for the year. Fantastic. Vikings beat Dolphins 24-16. Bengals over Saints 30-26. That's the reason why all of South Mississippi. Woo-wee, son. Giants beat Ravens 24-20. I'll have to go watch the highlights on that one. Steelers beat Bucks 2018. Lions, Titans, Raiders, Texans, all on the bye. All on the bye. So we'll have to check the scores. We'll have to check the scores and whatnot after a few more plays. But yes, currently the Bucks and the Falcons are currently tied for first place. 3-3 each. And because of the division win over the Falcons, the Bucks hold on to first place currently. And who are the Bucks playing next week? Week 7. We're flying through this. Bucks are playing Panthers, and the Falcons are playing the Bengals. Bucks will play the Panthers, Falcons will play the Bengals. Week 8 is Falcons at home against Carolina. So next week against the Bengals, which is going to be an incredibly tough game, the Falcons are going to let's shift gears here. Let's shift gears here into what the Falcons are going to have to do next week. Falcons are going to have to do some fantastic work. The Falcons are going to have to do some fantastic work against the Bengals team. I just think that is prime for an explosion. An explosion of elite games. Hernan Garcia, what's going on? How you doing, my friend? Rise up, stay grounded. I hope you're doing well. I think it becomes a key to try to prove ourselves against the Bengals, because if you beat the Bengals, I think that the Bengals are a playoff team easily. They look like a playoff team. They have the fight like a playoff team. They have the talent like a playoff team. And if it walks like a duck and quacks like a duck, and if the shoe fits, if the boot fits, then the Bengals are definitely a playoff-worthy team. And I feel like if the Falcons can beat the Bengals or stay in the game with the Bengals all the way to the end, I feel like either way, win, lose, or draw against the Bengals, as long as it's not a blowout, I think the Falcons 110% are a step away from making a splash. And it could still be this year. It could still be this year even after losing to the Bengals. But I feel like it would give me more clarity. 129 yards of passing, and we still win. This team is different. Raymond Elder, good to see you, my man. Rise up, stay grounded. I hope you're doing well. It's uncanny to see a team throw for so little, yet run for so much, play decent defense, and suddenly win 3 games and lose 3 games. They're a 50-50 team right now. If they can prove the Bengals and the Panthers are 2 teams that they can play above their competition level, which I believe the Falcons currently are are at the doorstep of playing above their competition level, as well as beat a team that's definitely below their competition level. Maybe if you beat Carolina, Carolina's willing to talk about some trading components for draft picks. There are some people being shopped. What's the potential of that? I think it's interesting to look at the Atlanta Falcons and say they're not just a step away, they're but a shuffle away. Pantera, what's going on, my man? Rise up, stay grounded. I hope you're doing well. But they're but a turn from the right or the left into what the Falcons potentially could be as a baseline team. Right now, this team looks like they could score 30 points on any given Sunday. And that level of confidence from this team and the willingness to get rough and rowdy with other teams is what I think makes this team so deadly. They've got a way of playing football, and now they've got to play against a Bengals team who is poised to go to the playoffs, a team that's definitely poised to go to the playoffs, even though they had a rough start. So if the Falcons continue to play at the level they need to, they are going to beat teams like the Bengals, or they're going to at least stay within the fight. And if they can do that, then you know they're not far away. They're not far away from greatness. So I'm sitting here looking at guys like Marcus Mariota and going, I don't know if you're going to be usurped by a Desmond Ridder anytime soon. Because as long as you continue to plant your feet and get a good base, you're making throws like you did to Kyle Pitts in the end zone and striking and making touchdowns. By the way, can I get everyone in the chat to give me a rise up for a Kyle Pitts touchdown in the US of A at home? Can I just get a rise up? Everybody type a rise up in the chat for a Kyle Pitts touchdown in Atlanta on US soil. My goodness, we've needed to see it. And we got both tight ends involved today. We got Marcus to score a touchdown. And the defense comes up clutch for a touchdown. I mean, I don't know what more to say. I don't know what more to say. If we continue to get Kyle Pitts active in this offense, it's going to continue to pay off. They will let it up. They will let it up. They will open up. Teams can't stop you on every level. You've got Drake London out there making plays. You got Kyle Pitts making plays. Cordero was making plays when he's healthy. Now you got Algier out there making plays. Huntley's making plays. We ran on them again, on a team again, multiple times on a drive and just gashed them. What is this offensive line? Where did it come from? Why are these guys playing out of their mind? We still got to pay Lindstrom and potentially even pay McGarry, depending on what he wants to do, whether or not we keep him, whether or not we upgrade that spot. Goodness. Dahlman out looking fire. Matthews looking fire. No matter who we put at left guard, they're out there looking fire. Arthur Smith knows how to play the game. Make sure you guys share this out on the Twitter. Make sure you tag me in that tweet at UNGR_show. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to this channel, hit that notification bell, or check us out on Twitch at gamingwith_LTDan to see us live there if that's the preferred app you'd like to use. I'm out here looking at this Falcons team and going, there's just so many weapons on it. And it's because all this talent is untapped. You don't even really know what these guys really are. I mean, Tyler Algier out here making cutbacks on run blocking plays that just open things wide up and gains another 5 yards. Same thing with Huntley. Hit contact after hit, whether you be a wide receiver, a tight end, or a running back on this squad, or even the quarterback at this point. These guys are so willing to push it the extra yard, 2 extra yards, 3 extra yards. I'm a rumble and stumble forward. This group is scary like that. And if you can keep that up for 17 games, good on you. But at some point, you're going to have to start making catches where you open up portions of the field where nobody gets touched. And that's not a demand. That's just, we have to start opening up the field. I saw plays where guys are wide open, like a Drake London's wide open, basically falling into the back of the end zone, and we're trying to force it over the middle of the field. So there's still some decision making. There's still, I said it in the Discord today. I said it in the Unintentional Grounding Discord today. I said, for those of you all in here, I feel like there's just a little extra spice, a little extra chili powder, paprika, whatever you're using, a little habanero, something a little extra here to give it a little extra spice. What is it that this Falcons team needs? Y'all say it in the chat, please. I want to hear y'all's opinion on this. What do the Falcons need to give this team a little extra spice? Could it be us re-signing Calvin Ridley and adding him into the fold? Could it be us adding another dynamic running back? I mean, if CP comes back healthy, you could rotate these 3 guys and make it incredibly scary. Maybe it's a nose tackle, a big Vita Vea type. There's plenty of guys in this coming draft that are going to be just like that. When an offensive line can only handle one guy with 2 guys and leaves one-on-ones, those matchups end up becoming nightmares for opposing quarterbacks, where all their guys are basically clogged up with somebody. Is it the change of quarterback that would give us that extra bit of spiciness that this Falcons team is looking for? More throwing, a more secure running, less QB runs. Does that take away something from this offense? I'm not sure. Because Mariota doesn't run all the time, but when he does gain those impact yards. Can Desmond Ridder do something similar? Does he get around guys quick enough? Do we even know? Could this team use another shutdown CB? Maybe Casey Hayward gets pushed to the slot, Isaiah Oliver back to the outside. Maybe we just go grab another one in the draft. Are we fine with the safeties or the linebackers that we currently have? I know you can always add more to the edge and defensive in room, but the way that we're playing, sometimes we're only rushing 3. What do we need, you know? There's something spicy about this group, and I feel like if you just add that little extra spice to it, you could take the potential, the untapped potential of this Atlanta Falcons organization and make it fly through the roof. A competitive edge, Coach Smith has stated this is no longer a team for mediocrity. That's already seen on the field. Without question, I agree with that. That's already seen on the field. You already see it. The feistiness from a Drake London today being like, I dare you to slam me on the ground again. I dare you to put your arm out like you're going to punch me. You won't do that again. You won't do that again. I'm going to keep burning you all day. You won't do that again. That feistiness you already see, whether it be the offensive line, or you see Mariota, or you see Drake London, this defense, how they act. It's not a wimps team anymore. These are not whooping boys. These are strong men out there working. So it becomes incredibly interesting to look at this group and go, what does it need from a draft perspective? This is a weak class. What do you do when you go out there and you got to go draft for next year? We're not even halfway through the season yet, and we're already looking at this team going, it just needs that little extra spice, man. It just needs that little extra something. Anon Yamus, ya boy, in the building. Rise up, stay grounded, my friend. Hope you're doing well. And Chris Edwards just said it not but just a few minutes ago. A more efficient passing game. Is that the ticket? Is that the ticket? That could be it. But we could definitely use something in the interior to be able to collapse the pocket so that quarterbacks are not sitting back there taking one step forward and making a throw. Even though we're creating a little bit of pressure off the edges, maybe there's a guy in the interior that we can get that starts creating a mismatch. Maybe two guys, maybe three. Who knows? But all I can say is that this team right here, is very, 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 very close to literally turning this Falcons organization around from an absolute, and I'm going to say it just because the team did not fit. The people we had here were long in the tooth from a regime from long ago that their time ended. And it was, they're not that there weren't good players and not that they couldn't go somewhere else and succeed, but they were long in the tooth here. That era was over. It ended a long time ago. The new year had not been really ushered in. And now you begin to usher that in and you see this group begin to flourish and prosper and become something new. Archangel, good to see you, my man. Rise up, stay grounded. So you look at this team and you go, I don't know if there's any one single thing, but just a complete change of identity has made everybody go, I don't know who this Falcons team is. I don't have tape on this team. And even if we do have tape, they're going to utilize their weapons. We're going to get outplayed at some point, somewhere, somehow. They're going to find something and they're going to create a huge play, and it's going to be a scoring play. And it's hard to stop that when you have so many options and so many resources. And it's not even a bunch of guys that are superstars yet. It's a bunch of guys that are nitty-gritty blue collar. We've been calling for this for many, many years now. Since the times of Michael Turner, we've been calling for this. And we're finally seeing that actually happen, come to fruition. So I don't know how you can't be excited. I'm not even upset when we lose. That's where I'm currently at. We lose and my mood doesn't even change because I see the development every time I see the team play. What an incredible standard of playing football now. Where a coach comes in and he says, this is how we're going to make this work. Boom, 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 boom. And delivers on what he says is gonna happen. And delivers on what he says he wants to happen. That's what's so impactful. Incredible, 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 incredible stuff. If you're watching this right now and you haven't already hit that like button, please make sure you do. It basically helps this channel for free. Keeps this place going, running. Don't even have to monetarily hit us with any dosh. If you're enjoying the content today, make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell to be notified of all future content that comes out. We do a little podcast every time the Falcons play. And we put out a couple of videos when we can. Lordy, Lordy, have mercy, because we are out here watching this Atlanta Falcons team really suit up and go out there and hit people in the mouth. And that's exciting. If you're a Falcons fan right now, or even a fan of anything the Falcons are currently doing and watching from the side as a supporter of another team, come on, man, hit this place up with a rise up, because this is incredible. The Matthew 427, what's going on, my man? Rise up, stay grounded. Rise up, Falcons Nation. Rise up, y'all. Make sure you guys share this out in the Facebook groups and on the Falcons message boards if you want to have some people come through and check out this content. What an amazing time to be a Falcons fan, because you have a group of guys out there running the ball effectively. Even with a passing attack that has fantastic pass catchers. You're only throwing it a maximum of 20 to 25 times per game, even if you are up against the clock. This team says, we'll run it right down your mouth. We'll run it right down your mouth. Next year, the Atlanta Falcons, and I see Pantera in here already talking about it a little bit too, but the Atlanta Falcons next year, depending on whether or not they keep Calvin Ridley, and that's why the higher number is with them releasing Ridley or trading Ridley or not taking on Ridley's contract, and the lower number is with Ridley coming back, obviously playing on his 5th year. But the Falcons have anywhere from $81 to $65 million next year in cap space. They'll be one of the top 5 teams in spending money, if not top 10. And yes, that's without paying Lindstrom. That's without paying McGarry. That's without, adding other free agents or spending money on anybody currently looking for a contract. Yes, I know that. But look at what the Falcons are doing right now, man. If they don't keep Calvin, which will be sad, but you're looking at the absolute emergence of Oz, Pitts, London, Gabriel, excuse me, not Gabriel, but Algier and Huntley, Mariota. You're seeing playmakers that are 2 and 3, the second and third string tight ends making touchdown catches. We don't have to have superstars. So there's technically, you don't need Calvin Ridley. Falcons could be close to $80-something million next year without even touching Calvin Ridley. People don't want to hear that, but I look at this current draft class of wide receivers, tight ends, running backs, and I go, it's replaceable. It's completely and utterly replaceable. You didn't. Arthur Smith didn't draft. Terry Fontenot didn't draft Calvin Ridley. And with the absence currently, if you can get a price for Calvin Ridley, you most likely take that option. I know people don't want to hear that, but the Falcons are ruthless. Look what they did to Julio Jones. Look what they did to Matt Ryan. Don't think for a second that these guys won't just chuck you off the team because they've got bigger, better plans. If you're not part of the whole, you're not part of the group. That's the way the Falcons are currently planting their flag on Falcon Island. They're saying, here on Falcon Island, here on our Air Force, our Air Force base, here we raise the flag every morning. The flag goes up. It waves proudly with a giant falcon on it in red and black. Everybody looks up, gives a salute to the Falcon flag up there, and they go, if you're not part of this group and supporting what we're trying to do, get your butt, get your bags, put your shoes on, get in the water, boy, and swim to mainland because you don't belong here, son. That is exactly what this Falcons group is currently doing right now. This front office doesn't give a damn, excuse my language. They don't give a flying falcon what you think. They take you straight to the SmackDown Hotel. Rudy Poo. And what's more interesting about it is that they're doing it with the basics. They're beating teams with the basics and sprinkling in a little bit of the new. We've been asking for that for how long? And it's happening in front of your eyes. Come on, don't tell me that you don't like that. You like that! You like that! Yes, I do like that. I absolutely do, Kirk Cousins. Thank you. I really appreciate you, man. Keep grinding out there in Skull Land. Skull up. But come on, y'all. Come on, y'all. Look what the Falcons are doing with Tyler Algier, Avery Williams, and Caleb Huntley running the ball. I don't even know what you do when CP comes back. If Ritter will play all year. If you add another wide receiver to the fold. Jarvis Williams, what's going on, my man? Rise up, stay grounded. If you haven't already been greeted, by the way, in the chat, if I haven't said your name in the chat, if I haven't said hi to you, please make sure you go into the chat and say hi. I'd love to say hi back. I promise I don't bite. The Grounders come here and we chill out and we talk ball. And we don't talk about the narrative stuff that everybody talks about all the time. We go deep. We talk about the things that are impressing us, the big things, not just the minuscule. Oh, Marcus Mariota only threw it for 20 times today, and the Falcons are running the ball so effectively. Bro, look at this Falcons team and who's running the ball. Look at the patient running from these guys. They hit the hole that this offensive line is creating at such an alarming rate against defensive lines who are good at stopping this stuff. And they're making plays. They're scoring touchdowns. They're chewing clock. So when you're looking at this team and you go, what does this team need to add that extra layer of spice? I go, I'm not sure what needs to be added, but I can tell you right now what the Falcons are currently doing offensively and defensively. And we haven't even really talked about defense at all. We're just talking about the Falcons and how well they're doing things offensively. But look at what the Falcons are doing as a whole. These guys are punching teams in the mouth and going, we can go toe for toe, tit for tat, punch for punch, eye for eye, tooth for tooth. You hit us, we hit you back. What do you want to do? Incredible. Just absolutely incredible. And they've yet to get to the supposed target year. The target year of 2023, where they're looking for supposedly their greatest success, or at least that's what they're leading on as the Super Bowl is in 2023. I'm gonna tail off a little bit here and just be like, it's that the Super Bowl is that year. The Super Bowl for this year is that year, 2023. Do you believe this Falcons team, playing the way it's currently playing right now, could outplay a Kansas City Chiefs team? Or a Buffalo Bills team? Or a Ravens team? Do you believe that we could be able to play with the biggest of the big boys? I'm curious what's going to happen in this Bengals game, because if they end up beating beating Cincinnati. Let's say they beat Cincinnati. The Falcons end up beating Cincinnati, they go 4-3. They played 7 games. And they're marching back home to go play the Panthers and end up beating them, and now they're 6-3. 5-3, excuse me. 5-3. They're just taking the competition that they're getting and they're beating them. And they're keeping games against guys like the Rams, New Orleans, who've yet to play again. We can beat them. We can beat them. We can beat them. But look at the 3 games that we've lost. An NFC game, 3 NFC games, and 2 of them being inside our own division. So we can turn around and go beat the Bucs and go beat the Saints and get wins out of that. And if we show up and we absolutely spank the Panthers. I wouldn't be surprised if they go into the next game with the Panthers and absolutely rip them apart. So if you can end up beating the rest of your division and getting 4 wins and adding that to the current total right now, you're talking about I've already won 7 games. Now, let's not get ahead of ourselves. But the Falcons currently are on the verge of something very, very successful. I don't know what that's going to be, but I had this feeling just in the back of my neck, like the Falcons are going to end up getting a few more dubs. Don't expect the Falcons to be picking in the top 10 picks. Don't expect it. Don't expect that. Don't wish it. Don't dream it. Don't even try to pretend that the Falcons will be up there because I don't believe they'll be up there. After playing the game that we did today, and defensively, we will have to make some adjustments, obviously, with some injuries. And there's still opportunity for this team to buy some contracts or buy some people out on some teams that are already giving up the ghost. Know that they don't have a chance in heck. To add more talent to the roster to get them focused for the next couple of weeks. But if the Falcons end up going on a roll, it could get real wild in Atlanta. They might be picking later in the draft, which could potentially benefit them. And I'm not talking about playoffs. I'm just going to talk about the draft. Could benefit them in this coming draft because of how weak the class is in positions that the Falcons don't necessarily need. Defense wins championships. Offense wins games to get to that particular point. Can this offense continue to move the ball successfully on the ground and make throws in a timely manner that allow the Falcons to outpace teams and defensively just shut them down quarter by quarter by quarter while the length of the lead begins to get out of control because there's just not enough clock? This team can score 30 points a game. You've seen it every single game. They can do it. By the way, I just want to say very quickly to everybody in the chat, rise up and stay grounded. Rise up and stay grounded to all of y'all. Thank you so much for 22, 23 people coming in here watching today. I really appreciate that. Make sure you hit that like button, notification bell, subscribe button if you haven't already subscribed. But I just want to quickly say this very quickly. It's been incredibly important to see where the Falcons have been putting the most of their time. And I just want to very quickly and sternly say that if you have been following anything the Falcons have been doing on the scouting reports, if you've been following any Falcons scouts at any particular games, you know that they've been looking at 2 different places heavily. And one of those is in Texas. At almost every single Texas game, they have been watching Bijan Robinson play ball. The other one has been Alabama. So I want to tell everybody in here, man, they could end up going running back in the first round if CP is not their guy. If CP is not their guy. Mike Jones, thank you so much for the $5 dono in the chat. Can everybody give a round of applause to Mike Jones in the chat? Thank you so much. Rise up, stay grounded, Mike. Hope you're doing well. But this is the kind of team that can win 8 to 9 games and potentially get a wild card berth. But if we take it week by week, we've got an incredible Bengals game coming up. And then we got to play against the Panthers. I was watching that that Hyatt kid from Tennessee. That who in here was excited for Bama to lose? Show of hands. Show of hands real quick. Type it in the chat. Throw it up there. Who in here is Rocky Top, baby? Smoke your stogies, baby. Smoke your stogies. I don't need a hiding place to smoke my stogie. I smoke it wherever I want, unlike you. Oh my goodness. Good old Rocky Top. Down goes Bama. Roll Tide goes rolling down the hill. Ouch. Oof. Oof. And what did they do to beat the Tide? Exactly what the Atlanta Falcons are currently doing. Aha, see? I tied it all in. Run the damn ball down someone's throats, and they can't stop it. And expose them for what they are. Weak. Weak individuals. Weak-minded, weak spiritually, weak mentally, weak physically. Show them what you're worth and punch teams in the mouth and take their lunch money. Walk up to the candy store, go buy yourself some Hershey's Kisses, drop the wrappers down at their feet, and stuff your mouth with chocolate and say, ah. Take candy out of a baby's hand, throw it down the drain, and be like, you're a Saints fan. If you're an Alabama fan, are you basically a Saints fan at that point? Or maybe you're a New England Patriots fan at this point. Maybe you're a Bucks fan. Maybe you just like Brady. Why am I calling people out at the end of the show? I don't know. Going wild. Going ham at the last second before we get out of here. Y'all, thank you so much for coming through. I really appreciate it. We'll do this again. Hit you guys up. Got some content I'm going to be working on tomorrow and the day after. Hit you guys up with that content if I don't head up to Savannah. Peace, hair grease, rise up, stay grounded to all of y'all. Make sure you guys hit us up at gamingwith_LTDan on the Twitch. Really appreciate if you guys could hit us up there. We're going to play some video games on there at one point. Doing competitive Apex as well as doing some screenings of some NFL draft work. Peace and air grease to all of y'all. Rise up, stay grounded. I hope to see you guys again real soon. This was Unintentional Grounding live from Orlando, Florida with your boy, Lieutenant Dan. Peace, guys.